Hello everyone, it's Lindsay from the Vintage Button. Welcome to Junk Journal July. We are going to do simple stitch. And I thought that this would be a little chat about using stitching in your junk journals, and how it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a sewing machine. I have 3 sewing machines and I very rarely use them, and I've never used them on paper. I just use a stitch. I mean, I am a slow stitcher, so I will use a needle and thread over anything. My mum, and I think if you watch the slow stitch videos, you'll know this. My mum was a pattern cutter and a machinist in a like a cotton mill up north in England. So she, I've got this history of stitching. She does hand sew, but she doesn't do the kind of like twiddly doodly stitching that I do. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to do 3 simple stitches that would be highly effective in your journal. Now you're going to know the first one, which is a running stitch. I'm actually taking myself on a back stitch. No, but let's just keep running stitch it. So this is a running stitch. You just go in and out and you make dashes. And this is really helpful, like around things. Kind of like if you wanted to make a border, if you wanted to attach something to something, because nothing in your journals is going to be like I wouldn't use this to anything that needed some strength to it. I wouldn't use it. But having said that, this could sew signatures. If you were making like a pamphlet, a little booklet, you could use a running stitch. If you don't want to get your head around like the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, an in and out running stitch. That's how I used to, when I was a kid, I used to make books and I used to put a running stitch down because we didn't have a stapler. So I was like, well, I want to make a book, and that's what I would do. So, you can do that. I wish I kept all these things. I can remember. So it's just in and out. I'm not even being careful about it. You could be really precise and, do exactly, if you can hear traffic noise, I'm apologising, but we're in a heat wave, so I need to do what I need to do. And yeah, you can kind of like be really precise about it, measure your stitches, or not. You could just dash. And I think probably not isn't being sloppy. I think it's probably about making things look like they're handmade, because they are handmade. So that's a running stitch. And now we're going to just do a back stitch. Using a fabric sample, the kind of edge to a fabric sample, just so it's got paper on it as well. But a back stitch is where you kind of always work backwards on yourself, but you're still going forwards. I don't think that explained it very well. But I've kind of put the first bit of a running stitch in, and now I'm going to go back on myself. So it sort of joins, and then I'm going to come forward, and I'm going to come back on myself. Now I like to do that. This is the strongest stitch you can do if you were sticking 2 bits of fabric together. This is the strongest stitch you can do, other than a machine stitch, like on a sewing machine. So like if you were making your own clothes before they had sewing machines, this is the stitch you would use on all the seams. I think this was the first stitch after a running stitch that I actually learned, was the back stitch, like as a child. We also used to do cross stitch at school on like really, really big fabrics. Iada, is that what you call it? I remember that. So there we go. That's the back stitch. And these are even in my slow stitch, I would say these are my most used stitches. Now if you want it to be a little bit clever and do some decorative stitching, we're going to do a French knot. It's really easy, a French knot. And I think it looks more complicated than it does. And it also looks really effective. I'm going to show you a little bit of what we're going to work on to end. I did this with a combination of running stitches and back stitches. I took a piece of fabric, and it's the same fabric that's sort of used on my spine, and I just went over the existing picture in the blue colour, and then I've just added some French knots and some dashes, some like little straight stitches, some running stitches basically, in to sort of create that idea of the sea, the waves hitting the boat. And then this one, which we will do, we'll finish the A off, or I'll start it and then I'll pause it and bring it all together at the end. Just so you can see that this back stitch we've just done can go around curves, and you can use it to write with your stitches, or do any drawing really. It's quite good. Okie dokie, so what we need to do for a French knot is we need to bring our thread out, we need to push our thread back, put our needle behind, do 1-2 twists, then go behind that original thread that was coming up, push that in, pull it down. As you're pulling it down, make sure that your thread has a little bit of tension on it. Let me just pull that back a bit, a little bit of tension. It comes through, and there's your French knot. And it looks really special. Right, let's do it again. So I'm going to come up. So the thread is coming up out of whatever. You could do this on fabric, doesn't have to just be on paper. Push that thread back, and I've taught this so many times on different videos, but I think sometimes it's useful to have it in multiple places and multiple ways of watching it. So you've got your thread going back, get your needle, put it behind, wrap it over twice, pull it down, put it just on behind that original bit that came out, pull it taut so that there's some tension on the knotty bit, and then pull it through. I need to make sure that doesn't come that way. I'll have to do it again. 3 is a good magic number as well anyway. Pull it through. There we go. French knot. Now, my French knots don't come out exactly the same all the time because I might wrap it around more than once. It is what it is. It's all part of something being natural looking. So, there we go. Pushing the thread back, wrapping it round, pulling it down, going in just behind that original stitch that came out, pulling it through, but making sure there's a little bit of tension on the knotty bit. There we go. So you've got 3 stitches, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these 3 stitches here so that it's reminding me that this is what I've done with you. And so I'm just going to cut that off because it doesn't have to be like the full thing for that to happen. There's going to be a little bit of Be Happy that'll go on somewhere like that, just to give a little bit of dimension to that page. So we're going to put that there. May do that off camera. We've done this one. Again, I'll show you that. So that's a combination of a running stitch, a back stitch, and those French knots to embellish any printed fabric you can do this with. And this is why, if you're not, I think junk journaling and slow stitch are the same thing. You just use different mediums. You know, like I literally see my slow stitching like junk journaling. Obviously, I don't have a book as such, but whatever I'm making, it's the principles the same. I'm creating something out of materials that I find, because I have the same principle with my slow stitch as I do with my junk journal, that I don't use single-use craft items. I also like kind of want to create layers, and you know, I want it to feel my aesthetic, and I want it to have a vintage twist, but I also like colour. So this is like using thread that I found out, I call it out in the wild, but it's kind of, I'm gonna running stitch my way down there. I might running stitch my way back up just to not waste the thread. Yeah, I find my bits and pieces, I call it out in the wild, but it could be in a charity shop, it could be in a junk shop, could be in an antiques barn, all kinds of places. I find my threads, my vintage buttons. I use fabric samples. If you don't get the tension right, I've got 4 lots of thread here. I could use embroidery floss. I could even split the floss down so it's however many strands you want, but I'm actually using up old vintage thread that's probably not strong enough to sew on anything on a machine, so I use it decoratively instead. And I do that as well because the colours are just amazing. The colours are stunning. So we're just going to keep going and make this A. And I'll show you, see, we're just going a straight line at the minute, but we're going to hit a curve. Then I'll switch the camera off, I think, finish it off once I've done this curve, because you might not want to watch me do all of it. There we go. I love this combination of colours. There's this like really dark blue, this kind of like sea blue, and the red. I think it's so effective. There we go, that's that. And we will just finish off this other bit. Go in here. You can see the back, how there's all kinds of like going from one thing to another. Going in here, and we can turn it around. I turn my fabric around. You could put this on like an embroidery hoop, but because I'm literally using scraps, I don't feel the need to. I'm also keeping an eye on my tension so that I'm not pulling things too tight so that the fabric doesn't pucker up. And sometimes I might, you know, give it a little bit of a tug, or, you know, just kind of do that really. One last stitch. I think we only need to do one last stitch, and then we'll be there. Oh, I might need to do 2. That's alright. We can do 2. I don't need to switch the camera off. Sorry if you can hear like noises in the background, but it's really warm where I am, and I had this window open because it was quite quiet, and then next door put some music on, as they should be able to because it's their house too. So, but because we're all so close together, I thought I'll close the window. There we go. I love it. I love it. So I'm just going to push my needle through all of this a few times to catch it all in, and I'll be able to snip it off. Then I'm going to get my glue. I might need to switch the camera off to find my glue and make sure it's working. No, my glue's here. Is it working? It's hot, so it should be. I'm going to switch the camera off while I have a play with this. See you in a minute. Okay, so I'm back, and what I'm going to do is just use my silicone glue. So you're going to need a heavier glue for this than, I think the PVA probably would work. But it would take a lot longer for it to dry, and it might bleed through. This still might bleed through. So what I've done whilst I was off camera, just so that I don't take up too much of your time, I've added my bit of Be Happy, which is from one of the fussy cutting pages, and I've just added a little bit of red around there with one of my water soluble crayons. It's kind of gone there, but I'm not bothered. I might actually put simple stitch or do something there. This is just blue, just to add a bit of colour. I'll be doing some journaling on this bit because I've got extra pages. Then I've added that little sheet that we've been using, that we've just used to demonstrate the stitches. I've added that to my journal. And I like the fact that this stamp, it folds 2 ways and you get 2 images. Really nice way to use stuff like that is to just tip them into your journal. And then all I'm going to do here is rearrange, put that there because I know, rearrange where our little bits are going to go. I'm going to put loads and loads of glue on. It is well ventilated in here because it's so warm, so that's why I'm quite happy putting loads of this glue on. So this is a glue called coal oil glue, which is the European version of Fabri-Tac. And you know, when you sort of add things like this to your journal, it's just like adding another dimension to it. It's like adding another texture to it. Just makes things interesting. You could sew directly onto the pages. I think that there's a risk of that tearing, and it becomes a sort of, you have to punch the holes and go through. I actually think get some scrap fabric, sew on that and stick it in your journal is a much easier, or you could tack it into your journal, I guess. I've got some vintage pins. I could, you know, use some vintage pins here and put that in. In fact, I might do that for for this bit here, so it looks like they're joined together. So I have these vintage pins that are just too, I'm going to use that with a silver ball. They're too dull for me to actually use in my own slow stitch. They like pull the fabric. So they've become junk journal stuff now, and it's kind of like a nice way. I'm just going to push it through 1 layer, and then it'll look like it's pushed through 2 layers. Make sure that the sticky pin bit is always stuck back under, then you don't, you know, prick yourself in your journal. Is that going to work? Yeah, that works. And I want that to just sort of go there, and it just says all at sea. I do hope you're not all at sea. I hope that this is something that's, oh, I'm sticking glue down where I don't need to be gluing. Let's do a measure. So from sea. Yeah, I hope that this is something that's really useful for you. Let me know in the comments, have you used stitching in your journal? Is that something you've thought about? Is it something you're going to try now? It's been really lovely when people have said, oh, I'm going to go and try that now. Like, that just, it encourages me so much in what I do, to know that people are, you know, that this is helpful and people are inspired. It's just so helpful and to me to know that. So let me know in the comments. And there you go. Simple stitch. 3 simple stitches you can use in your journal today. There are other stitches. You could use a blanket stitch all around the outside. There's so many stitches you could use. But these are my 3 go-to stitches that I use in my slow stitch anyway. And I can see how useful they will be in a journal. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And I will talk to you soon. This has been day 12, Junk Journal July, Simple Stitch. Don't forget to look in the description box. There is so much information. You can get the prompt pack. It's not too late to join in, from Be Happy Stationery, Sandra at Be Happy Stationery's Ko-fi page. Get along there. There's fantastic kits like this kit that I've just used for this. This is just a snippet of that kit. There's loads going on. And then there's other wonderful creators as well that you'll find in the description box that are also joining in for Junk Journal July. Go and see what they're up to. Everybody's different and the way we express ourselves is different, and it's all so valuable. All right then everyone, I will see you soon. Bye bye.